Welcome to the deep dive.
It's great to be here.
You know, when you sent me this article, Are You Falling for These 5 Tricks of Evil? I gotta admit, I was a little hesitant at first.
Ready?
It sounded kind of like spooky stories.
Mm-hmm.
But once I actually dove in,
Yeah.
it really got me thinking
Yeah.
about the ways that these so-called tricks,
Mhm.
they're not like,
Right.
demons and ghosts.
No.
It's really about
It's human
struggles.
real relatable.
Exactly. And I think, especially when it comes to faith,
Absolutely.
something that we don't talk about a lot,
Right?
these kind of doubts and these kind of,
Yeah. These struggles.
yeah.
It's very human.
Yeah. So I thought it would be really interesting to kind of unpack these a little bit
I think so too.
and maybe see if we can learn something along the way.
For sure.
So
Right.
the first one that the article talks about is this idea of doubt and deception.
Okay.
And it's suggesting that evil can kind of plant these seeds of uncertainty about God's goodness, especially when we're dealing with pain and suffering. And it's that age-old question.
Yeah.
If God is good,
Why is there
suffering?
Right, and it's such a universal question. I mean, it's been asked for centuries.
Right.
And I think the article does a good job of
Yeah.
highlighting how that doubt can creep in, when you're questioning God's promises or when it seems like our prayers aren't being answered.
Right.
And
It's like in those moments, it's like you start to question everything.
the foundation of what?
Yes. That chips away at the foundation.
It's like that foundation is
Yeah.
being shaken a little bit,
It's almost as if doubt uses our desire for certainty
Right.
against us.
Yeah, because we want those answers.
Right.
We want to be certain.
And when we're not.
And when we're not getting them,
Mm-hmm.
that's when those seeds of doubt can really take root.
And it's interesting because the article also touches on how sometimes it's not even necessarily just those big life moments. It's almost like this idea that traditional teachings can feel outdated.
Right. They feel irrelevant. Yeah. And it's like there's this.
It's almost like a wedge.
Yeah. It's a wedge.
Being driven.
Yeah. Like you're
pushing people away.
And your faith.
Away from their faith.
Have you ever experienced that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we all have those moments where we question, does this even still apply?
Right.
It's
like those moments make you question everything.
We do.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Okay.
To trick number 2.
All right.
This one, I feel like, especially in today's world, is so relatable.
It's very relatable.
Worldly temptation.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. This idea that we're constantly being bombarded.
Yes.
By messages of
materialism. Yeah. Instant gratification.
This idea that, success is...
You got to have it all.
You got to have it all.
Right.
And you got to have it now.
Now.
Right.
Yeah.
The article even calls out specifically dishonesty, sexual immorality, greed.
Which,
and it's so interesting because
classic.
Temptation.
They've been around forever.
Forever, right?
But it's like they still hold.
They still have power.
They still have so much power over us.
Right. And I think part of that is that we're constantly being told that those are the things that we should be striving for.
Yes.
Right?
It's like what we believe is right.
Right.
And what the world is telling us.
The world's like,
we should want.
This is what you need.
Yeah. Are constantly at odds.
And creates this tension.
And the article argues that tension can really distract us.
Distract us from
nurturing
what's really important.
That spiritual side.
Right. That spiritual connection that grows.
It's not just even about resisting the possessions.
It's about recognizing.
So
we're seeking fulfillment.
Where we're putting our energy, our time.
Our energy. It's easy to get caught up in.
It's so easy to get caught up in it.
The cycle of, wanting more.
Yeah.
Needing more.
It's like this bombardment of buy this, achieve this.
Be this.
Be this, be like this.
Yeah. And if we're not careful, it can really chip away at our values.
It's so true. And speaking of feeling lost.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big part of this next trick.
Okay.
Isolation and disconnection.
Right.
This idea that when we are isolated from
our support
systems.
Our support systems.
Whether that's friends, family, our faith community, we become
very vulnerable.
So much more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Right. It's like losing that
safety net.
That safety net.
That feeling of
sense of belonging.
Understanding.
Which I think is
so
especially crucial when we're struggling.
Yeah, when we're struggling with our faith.
When we're struggling with our faith.
And this source points out that that isolation can come from so many things.
Right.
It can come from life changes. It can come from personal loss.
It can even come from feeling misunderstood.
Yeah.
By
the people who
your own faith community.
You're supposed to feel closest to.
Right.
Exactly.
And without that support, the article argues we're just
more susceptible to those negative influences.
To feeling lost.
To feeling lost, to feeling directionless.
Directionless, yeah.
And I think that's a stark reminder
of how
vital those connections are.
We need those connections, to thrive.
To thrive.
Not just in our faith, but in all areas of our lives.
Okay, you ready to tackle the next one?
Let's do it.
Sorry, trick number 4.
Okay.
Fear and anxiety. This one.
This is a big one.
I think everyone can relate to this.
Yeah, on some level.
At some level.
For sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's such a primal human experience.
Yeah.
We all experience fear and anxiety.
Yeah.
And I think the article really gets at the heart of how fear and anxiety make us feel so
vulnerable, powerless. Like we're just at the mercy of
our emotions,
of our circumstances.
Yeah.
And
it's like
it's in those moments.
It's in those moments where
you're just desperate.
You just want it to stop.
For it to stop.
Right.
It's like we'll reach for anything.
Yeah, you'll reach for anything.
That promises
some relief.
Security, relief.
Even if
it goes against everything
you thought you knew. It's like your brain just shuts off
short circuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, your judgment's compromised because
you know what you believe.
You know what you should do. But
in that moment,
survival mode kicks in.
It's all about just finding relief.
Finding that control again.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the source is getting at here.
Yeah.
Is that these moments of intense fear or anxiety they can be
the breeding grounds.
Yeah, the breeding grounds for these tricks to really take hold.
Because your guard is down.
Your guard is down.
You're
just trying to survive.
You're just trying to survive.
Right. And so those cracks.
It's like they slip in through the cracks.
Exactly. They slip in through the cracks.
Yeah.
Have you ever
noticed that?
Like how fear can sometimes make you question things that you thought were unshakable.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like it makes you forget your own strength.
I'm just
You're just overwhelmed. Yeah, and that feeling of being overwhelmed.
That sense of
facing something so much.
Something bigger than yourself. That actually, I think, ties in.
It ties into this last
one on the list.
This last trick.
Persecution and trials.
Mm-hmm.
And this
one's tough.
Heavy.
It's heavy because it touches on both external and internal struggles.
It's like those external pressures, but then also.
But also what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And so the article talks about.
The source talks about.
Facing ridicule. Hostility.
Even outright persecution for what you believe in.
Right. And that's a very
real thing.
For
a lot of people. Right.
Right. But it also acknowledges.
Those.
The internal battles. Right. The illness, the loss, the grief.
Which can lead to so much.
Questioning and doubt.
And despair.
Yeah, and despair. And it's like this.
It really feels like this trick thrives on the idea
that if we suffer enough, if we're beaten down enough,
we'll just give up.
We'll just abandon our faith.
That's like it's trying to break you.
Right.
It's a
tough thing to think about.
It is a really heavy thought.
It is, but I think what's important to remember is that it's also
a testament.
A testament to the resilience.
Of faith, because even in the face of all of that,
even when
you're going through
doubt creeps in,
despair, all of those things,
people hold on to their beliefs.
They find a way to hold on.
And sometimes we're forced. Yeah. So we're looking at these 5 tricks.
Yeah.
Doubt, temptation, isolation, fear, and trials. It's pretty intense, right?
It is. It's a lot.
It's like this roadmap.
Like a roadmap.
Of all the challenges that we might face.
Especially
when it comes to our faith.
Right. And I think that's part of...
It's what's so fascinating. Yeah. What's so fascinating about it?
Yeah.
It's not sugarcoating it.
It's real.
It's real. It's like, these are...
It's giving a name.
It's naming them. It's giving them shape and form.
You don't even realize they're happening.
And as we've been talking about this, it's made me think about how understanding these things can actually be empowering.
Empowering. How so?
Well, because if you know
what to look for,
that somebody's trying to manipulate you.
Right.
Right.
You're less likely to fall for it.
You're going to be more aware of their tactics.
Right.
And I think the same can be said.
It's like knowing the tricks of the trade.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like, the playbook, so you're not going to fall for the same plays.
It's like, okay.
I see what you're doing.
I see what you're trying to do here.
Right.
And
instead of being afraid of it, it's like...
Exactly. It's about...
Right.
Awareness, not avoidance.
Okay.
And here's where I think it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The article doesn't just point out the problems.
Right.
It subtly hints at the solutions.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about the importance of connection?
Yeah, that really resonated with me, that feeling of belonging.
And it's not just about isolation.
Right.
But having that strong support system.
Having people you can turn to.
Nurturing our spiritual lives.
Taking care of yourself.
Being mindful of what we're allowing, to influence us.
To influence our thoughts, our actions.
It's like we're building up our defenses.
Exactly.
We're strengthening our resolve.
It's like building up those muscles so that you can withstand the storm.
Withstand whatever comes our way.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another point that I think is important.
Okay.
The article, while it's framing all of this as...
these tricks
of evil...
Right.
It's not...
It doesn't give you a magical solution.
It doesn't give you a formula for unwavering faith.
It's not like a step 1, step 2, step 3.
And I think that's actually...
And
it is powerful because it's real.
Because it's acknowledging.
It's acknowledging that...
That faith is a journey.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
And that there will be...
It's not a straight line.
There are going to be ups. There are going to be downs.
There's going to be moments of doubt.
Moments of doubt. Moments of profound belief.
Right.
And it's how we...
That's those moments. It's how we navigate those moments that truly shape us.
Learn and grow from them.
Yeah.
That truly shape our faith.
It's so true. It's like it's saying...
Big way.
These are real.
These challenges are real.
Yeah, there are things...
They're out there.
You're going to face?
You will face them. But you're not alone.
You're not alone.
And you have the strength.
You have the strength to face them.
To get through them.
It's not about being afraid.
It's about resilience. It's about that resilience.
It's not about being superhuman.
Right. It's not about
never stumbling.
Never messing up.
Right.
Never having doubts.
It's about how you get back up.
It's about getting back up.
How you learn from it.
Learning from it.
And how you keep moving forward.
And how you keep going.
Yeah. And we all...
Because we all stumble.
We all stumble. Yeah. We all have those moments of doubt.
Right. So for anybody listening right now who might be wrestling with these things, whether it's doubt, temptation, isolation, fear, those trials. What would you say?
What would I say?
What's the most important thing?
I think the most important thing to remember is that you're not alone.
You are not alone.
These are
universal
human
experiences, and acknowledging
them
it is a sign of courage. Not weakness. Right.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid to reach out.
To reach out to your people.
Talk to someone.
To your person.
And trust a friend, a mentor, a spiritual advisor.
Whoever it is. Just sharing that burden.
Carrying those struggles.
Can make a world of difference.
Can make them feel less overwhelming.
It's so true.
Right.
Like that's...
It can help.
A burden shared is a burden halved.
You gain new perspective.
It's so true.
And maybe, understanding these tricks is actually that first step. Towards overcoming them.
Because when we can name something, when we can understand it.
When we take the power away.
We take away its power.
It doesn't control us.
To control us.
Yeah.
And
because that's what this whole
That's what this whole deep dive.
This dive has been about.
It's been about
empowering you.
Empowering you with that knowledge.
With the knowledge, with the understanding.
With the understanding.
And a sense of hope.
Thinks of hope. You know?
Even amidst all of the...
Even amidst all of life's challenges.
Life's challenges.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And on that note...
Yes.
We'll leave you with this. What resonated with you?
What resonated?
Most from this deep dive.
Yeah.
What are some ways...
What are some ways...
that you can strengthen your own resilience?
Strengthen your own resilience.
Not just when it comes to faith.
Not just in your faith.
But in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
Keep those questions in mind.
Keep thinking about it.
Until next time, keep diving deep.